Data from the central bank reveals that external reserves may have returned to the growth path as it rose by $243.83 million in 19 days. The movement in reserves shows that the value rose from $39.54 billion as of the 1st of April to $39.78 billion as of the 19th of April. Well, we have weighing in on this senior economist and partner at SPM Professionals, Mr. Paul Alaje, joining us from Abuja, though virtually. Good morning, Mr. Alaje. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning, and thank you so very much for having me.
Great. So this is the second time we're seeing gains on the reserve. Do you think this has come to stay?
Well, I think Central Bank and the Monetary Policy Committee, some of the decisions taken have started to yield result. And I can say, yes, if we don't have any major disruption, we might continue to see this upward growth in the foreign reserve. One, because with the central bank policy of repatriating nearly 200 billion US dollars and giving extra 65 naira on every single dollar deposited or exchanged through the official window, has started yielding meaningful results. So that's what I have observed. And I also think that we can even do more when we start oil swap in exchange for PMS and so on and so forth that MPC and other agencies of governments are practicing. So I think it has come to stay because we have started seeing, just after that policy was made by the central bank, we have started seeing significant results in that regards.
And yes, the World Bank is criticizing the CBN, on FX policy.
Yes, it's obvious World Bank is criticizing CBN, but central bank needs to respond with a lot of care. If we decide to float our FX rate, I can tell you that inflation that is already 15.9% may go as high as 18 or 20%. So it's a tough decision to be made by Monetary Policy Committee, and more importantly, by the central bank and the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. It's better for us to his exchange, to his naira with not just suddenly, so that because we'll not be able to manage it. When we say we decide to float, we want to do what parallel market rate is doing, or we just want for demand and for the force of demand and supply to adjudicate price, we're going to have a lot of issues in our hand, starting with even further depletion of exchange rate, further fall, again, inflationary pressures to come, and so on and so forth. The issues are just too numerous to handle. Recall that in 1986, we had similar advice by IMF. Nigeria adopted it. And because of poor management, policy management, and poor implementation of policy, even though some countries made the same, but we should realize that economy does not stand on one leg. Inflation concerns is not just what monetary authority should focus, even though that's a core mandate, but what is fueling inflation in Nigeria, what is fueling poor exchange rate in Nigeria today is one of major reasons, one of the several reasons affecting exchange rate is low exports. Our exports is very poor, is very low, and to a large extent, I can say crude oil takes the lead. Apart from that, we also have poor policy for the environment, weak environment for production, which is affecting. I strongly believe that we can improve the environment, the policy environment, we can improve more. But to follow World Bank, hook, line, and sinker, it will be very disastrous for us as a nation.
Yeah, I know you said that it's the policy, and I believe you were referring to mostly the RT200 raised to $200 billion raise. But the figure also shows that about 90% of the gain in the reserve comes from the oil sector, and we're trying to improve the non-oil sector. So when are we expecting inputs from the non-oil sector?
Well, the non-oil sector is going to be impossible if we don't have the environment to improve non-oil exports. Number one is power. Number two is factory, manufacturing. Any country that wants to grow non-oil sector, as we are hoping to do, must ensure that our factory component, and I mean manufacturing component of our GDP is not less than 50%. What we have right now is less than 30%. There is just no way we improve manufacturing sector or export without having adequate power supply, and there will not be stronger and better policies to support export. This is what has happened. Even though those who are within the oil sector have seen opportunity to bring their fund to Nigeria and get a little bit more, which is what anybody who wants to maximize gain would have done, in that regard. So we might not be doing well in non-oil sector now, but we can get more even in oil. Again, we have also seen some level of reduction in oil theft, even though that is still going on within the Niger Delta, but it was not as bad as we had it, I think, last month or thereabout, because the report has that a significant proportion was stolen.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Laji, for sharing your thoughts with us. We do hope, as you have said, that we are back on the growth path for our reserve, because we have not even hit that $40 billion yet, which is supposed to be the beginning of the real growth. Thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you so much for having me.